Proof of Concepts, part of the Sticky Sales series. Every business has two parts. You already have a lot of blood, sweat and tears poured into developing a new technology. Then you have to sell it. But selling new technology is often easier than it sounds. You need a way to change how customers think about technology and convince them to embrace your new product. Installing a proof of concept at a customer site is a tool commonly used to remove obstacles to the sales process and help the customer gain the confidence he needs to buy the product. Over the years, we've demonstrated consistent success with proof of concepts in a variety of technologies such as software as a service solutions to manage data centers and project management applications. The key to this success is to incorporate the following tips into every proof of concept. There are two ways to look at the goals associated with any proof of concept. Your goals are to educate the customer and eliminate any objections associated with your solution that might block a sale. The customer needs to determine two things. First, your product has to prove that it can deliver the savings that your sales pitch promised. Second, you have to demonstrate that your product works in a manner that meets their operational guidelines. We said earlier in our series that excitement sells. If you allow someone who does not believe in the product to carry out a POC, their aura will flunk the sale. Enthusiastic people learn every angle of the solution and are far better at presenting than anyone else. You may be surprised to learn that that individual may come from IT rather than the sales department. Don't try and prove that your solution can do everything. The customer is only interested in their pain point, so tackle that in the POC. Be prepared to show other elements, but only if the customer brings them up. Otherwise, narrow the POC to the exact requirements of the customer. When you get in front of your customer, you will only have a few hours to impart as much information as you can. You need to develop a demonstration and training routine that will quickly educate them and answer the most common questions. This routine needs to be more than just a training course. This is your opportunity to tell your customers how you want them to use your solution and drop deliberate hints about the functionality that you want them to see. When the time comes to deliver this presentation, you do not want to sound like you're reading from cue cards. You need to come across naturally. It should sound relaxed, like you are having a casual conversation. This will help to get your customers talking with you when you are on site. You need to demonstrate to the customer how you are going to use or replicate these components in your proof of concept. Get all the details you can. Do not assume they're using standard components. You need as much background information as possible to ensure that you know how to work with these components before you arrive on site. Many people forget that the customer's environment is much more than software and servers. It's also people. Proof of concepts are often implemented whilst working with the business owners. You need to identify who you will be working with and who needs to be present when you arrive on site to install the POC. Before you visit the customer, you need to schedule a call with him. The goal is simply to determine if the customer has everything in place that they promised. Is the hardware you ask for ready? Are all the people you require to perform your installation going to be available? If everything is not in place, then you can judge whether to get on the plane, train or automobile and make it work, or whether you need to reschedule. Most proof of concept installations that we have implemented over the years took about half a day to complete. Spend the rest of the time talking to the customer and digging more on their problems and how you can address them. Once you've completed the POC, assuming it's been successful, the likelihood is that your customer will be asking all sorts of questions. The fact is that the moment you step out of their building, they'll be too involved with their day-to-day tasks to bother touching the hard work behind your POC. So the best thing is to A, drive the customer and get them to commit to follow-up dates, B, Agree on an action plan for the next session. You should set an expectation that you will be giving them a call within 3 to 5 business days. This really does depend on region. For example, we found that the Middle East, North Africa region tends to take much longer when testing a POC compared to Europe. During the call, you must determine any issues that they have in using the proof of concept. Many of these can be resolved over the phone. Often during these calls, you can identify some of their early concerns. Keep in mind that they probably haven't read the manual, so your customer can still have many misconceptions because they're trying to learn about your product by stumbling across features on an ad hoc basis. The last thing you need to do is close the loop on your proof of concept and begin working with your customer to complete their product evaluation. First, you need to make sure that you've completed all the tasks needed to meet the expectation that your POC would be successful. Then, you want to address actively all the technological objections that will affect the product evaluation.